An entitled bride demanded I dye my natural red hair brown because it would steal attention from her at her wedding. When I refused, she uninvited me, but still expected her gift. I returned everything, and she sent me a bill for her emotional distress. I, 27F, am still trying to process what just happened, and I need Reddit to tell me if I'm living in an alternate reality, or if this is actually as insane as I think it is. I have natural red hair, not like auburn or strawberry blonde. I'm talking bright, vibrant, copper red hair. Think Merida from Brave, Jessica Rabbit, that level of red. It's completely natural, runs in my family, my dad and grandmother have it too, and it's pretty much my most defining physical feature. I've had this hair my entire life. My friend Jessica, 28F, is getting married in 6 weeks. We've been friends since high school, not best friends, but close enough that I was excited when she asked me to be a bridesmaid about a year ago. The wedding is going to be huge, probably 200 plus guests, very formal, very expensive. 3 months ago, Jessica sent the bridesmaids a group chat with our dress options. She picked a beautiful emerald green color, which actually looks amazing with red hair. I was excited. We all ordered our dresses. Everything was fine. Then, 2 weeks ago, Jessica asked me to meet her for coffee. She said she wanted to discuss something important about the wedding one-on-one. I show up, and she's sitting there with a binder. A binder, full of photos, notes, fabric swatches, the whole 9 yards. She starts flipping through it and showing me her color scheme and her aesthetic vision, and how she's been meticulously planning every detail for over a year. Then she gets to a page that's just photos of me. Photos from Instagram, from other friends' weddings, from parties, all photos where my red hair is visible. Some of them have red X's marked through them. I'm immediately uncomfortable. I ask her what this is about. She takes a deep breath and says, I need you to dye your hair for my wedding. I laugh, because I think she's joking. She is not joking. Jessica proceeds to tell me that my red hair is too vibrant and will draw attention away from her in photos. She says that she's the bride and should be the only pop of color in the wedding photos. She shows me more pages in her binder, where she's photoshopped my hair to be brown in potential wedding photos. I'm sitting there in complete shock. She keeps talking, saying she's already researched temporary dyes that will wash out after a few weeks and that it's really not a big deal, and that any good friend would do this. I finally find my voice and say, Jessica, this is my natural hair. I'm not dyeing it. Her face completely changes. She says, it's one day, my wedding day, the most important day of my life. You can't sacrifice one day for me. I tell her that dyeing my hair isn't a one-day thing. It's a process. It's chemical damage, and even temporary dye can last months on hair like mine. Plus, it's weird. I'm not a decorative object. I'm a person. She starts crying. Real tears. Says I'm ruining her vision, and that she's worked so hard on this wedding. She says all her bridesmaids have normal hair colors, blonde, brown, black, and that I'm the only problem. I tell her I'm sorry she feels that way, but I'm not dyeing my hair. It's a hard no. She gets quiet, wipes her tears, and says, fine. Then I think it's best if you step down from the bridal party. I'm shocked, but honestly also relieved. I say okay, that's her choice, and I wish her the best. I start to get up, and she says, you're still coming to the wedding though, right? As a regular guest? I hesitate, and say I'll think about it. She nods and then says, okay, but I'll still need the bridesmaid gift by next week. We already ordered based on the final count. For context, the bridesmaids were told we each needed to contribute $250 toward a group gift for Jessica. We were getting her this expensive experience package, spa day, wine tasting, the works. I hadn't paid my portion yet because the deadline wasn't for another 2 weeks. I tell her, if I'm not in the wedding anymore, I don't think I should contribute to the bridesmaid gift. Jessica loses it, says I already committed and that it's not fair to the other bridesmaids to back out now. Says I'm punishing her for expressing her needs. I leave the coffee shop. I'm furious and honestly kind of hurt. That evening, I get a long text from Jessica. She says she's disappointed in me, that she thought I was a better friend than this, and that real friends make sacrifices for each other. She says if I actually cared about her, I would just dye my hair because it's such a small thing. I screenshot the message and send it to 2 of my close friends, not mutual friends with Jessica. They both immediately say she's being completely unreasonable and that I should stand my firm. Then the other bridesmaids start texting me. Turns out, Jessica told them I dropped out of the wedding because I wanted to make her big day about me, and that I'm refusing to contribute to her gift out of spite. I send them the truth, that Jessica demanded I dye my natural hair and uninvited me when I refused. 2 of the 4 bridesmaids believe me immediately and are horrified. One says she sees both sides. What sides? 1. Jessica's cousin tells me I'm being dramatic and that lots of people dye their hair temporarily for events. The two who believed me both text me privately. Turns out, Jessica has been a lot during this wedding planning. One bridesmaid, Brunette, was asked to wear her hair up because Jessica didn't want anyone to have flowing princess hair, except her. The other bridesmaid, plus size, was told she needed to try to lose a few pounds before the wedding so the dress would fit better, even though the dress already fit perfectly. So it's not just me. Jessica has apparently become a total bridezilla. I decide I'm not going to the wedding at all, even as a guest. I text Jessica and tell her that after thinking it over, I don't feel comfortable attending and I wish her the best. She responds with a novel of a text, says I'm selfish, unsupportive, a terrible friend, and that she should have known better than to trust someone who makes their hair their entire personality. What? Then she says, you owe me $250 for the gift, $150 for the bridesmaid dress alterations that I now have to redo with only 4 bridesmaids, and $75 for the cost of your plate at the reception that I already paid for. Total, $475. Venmo me by Friday. I literally laugh out loud. I'm not paying her a single cent. I don't respond. I block her number. The next day, I get a Venmo request from her for $475 with a note, wedding costs per our discussion. I decline it. Then I get an email from Jessica. She's CC'd the other bridesmaids. The email is unhinged. It's a multi-paragraph essay about the financial burden of weddings and how guests and bridal party members don't understand how expensive everything is and how, when you commit to someone's wedding, you're committing financially and emotionally. She ends the email with an itemized list of what each bridesmaid owes her, including me. My total is now $525 because she's added a $1.50 administrative fee for the stress of reconfiguring the bridal party. An administrative fee for stress. I respond to the email, reply all because I'm petty with, Hi Jessica, I will not be paying anything. You uninvited me from your wedding because I refuse to dye my natural hair. I am not responsible for costs associated with your wedding or your decisions. I wish you the best. One of the bridesmaids, the one who believed me, replies all with, Wait, you asked her to dye her hair? Jessica doesn't respond to the email thread. Instead, she blocks me on everything, social media, email, phone, everything. I think it's over. It is not over. Yesterday, I receive a physical letter in the mail. It's from Jessica. It's a bill, an actual, typed up, official-looking bill. The bill includes $250 for bridesmaid gift, $150 for dress alteration reconfiguration, $75 for reception plate, $50 administrative fee, $200 for emotional distress and reputational damage, $125 for breach of friendship contract. Total, $850. There's a note at the bottom that says, payment due within 30 days. Failure to pay will result in small claims court action. A breach of friendship contract. Emotional distress? I showed this to my roommate, and she laughed so hard she cried. I posted a photo of it on my private Instagram story because it's so absurd it has to be seen to be believed, and my phone has been blowing up with messages from people who are either horrified or think it's the funniest thing they've ever seen. Here's my question for Reddit. Do I respond? Do I ignore this? Do I get a lawyer? Is she actually going to take me to small claims court over refusing to dye my hair? I'm 99% sure this is completely unenforceable nonsense, but that 1% of me is worried she's unhinged enough to actually follow through. Also, several mutual friends have now reached out asking what happened because Jessica has been posting vague stuff on social media about fake friends and people who abandon you when you need them most. I've been taking the high road and not responding publicly, but I'm really tempted to just post the screenshots of everything. What should I do? Update 1. 5 days later. Wow, this got way more attention than I expected. Thank you all for the advice, support, and for confirming that I'm not the crazy one here. A lot has happened in the last few days, so strap in. First, I took several commenters' advice and consulted with a lawyer friend. She read through everything, the texts, emails, and the absolutely bonkers bill, and laughed for a solid minute. She said Jessica has no legal standing whatsoever. There's no such thing as a breach of friendship contract, and you can't bill someone for emotional distress in a personal dispute like this. She said if Jessica actually tries to take me to small claims court, it would be thrown out immediately, but I should keep all documentation just in case. She also mentioned that if Jessica keeps harassing me, I could potentially get a cease and desist, or even file for harassment. Good to know. Second, remember the 2 bridesmaids who were on my side? They both quit the bridal party. Turns out, After my email response where I mentioned Jessica asked me to dye my hair, they started comparing notes about all the unreasonable demands Jessica has made. The bridesmaid who was told to lose weight, Hannah, was especially done. She sent Jessica a message saying she was stepping down and that Jessica's behavior was unacceptable and body-shaming. The other bridesmaid, Lily, who was told to wear her hair up, also quit, saying she didn't sign up to be controlled like a doll, and that watching how Jessica treated me was the final straw. Jessica now has 2 bridesmaids left, her cousin, who thinks Jessica can do no wrong, and the I see both sides friend. According to Hannah, Jessica had a complete meltdown and called an emergency bridesmaid meeting with the 2 remaining girls. Apparently, Jessica spent 2 hours crying about how everyone is abandoning her and how her wedding is ruined. Hannah and Lily have both texted me separately apologizing for not standing up to Jessica sooner. We've actually become closer through this whole mess and met up for drinks last night. It was really nice. Third, the groom reached out to me. Yes, Jessica's fiancé, Matt, sent me a DM on Instagram. He said, "Hey, I heard there was some kind of disagreement between you and Jessica. I don't know all the details, but I'm sorry you're not going to be in the wedding anymore. Hope you're doing okay." He seemed genuinely kind and completely clueless about what actually happened. I debated whether to tell him the truth, but ultimately decided it wasn't my place to get in the middle of their relationship right before their wedding. I just responded, "Thanks, Matt, I appreciate you reaching out. I wish you both the best. But honestly, I feel bad for the guy. He seems sweet and has no idea what level of bridezilla he's marrying." Fourth, Jessica sent me another Venmo request, this time for $1,000. The note says, "Updated amount including compensation for replacement bridesmaids." Compensation for replacement bridesmaids. Apparently, because Hannah and Lily quit, Jessica had to ask 2 other friends to step in last minute. She's now claiming that she had to pay extra for rush alterations on new dresses and that I'm responsible for starting the chain reaction of people quitting. I declined the Venmo request and screenshot it for my records. Fifth, and this is the wildest part, Jessica's called me. I didn't recognize the number and answered thinking it might be work-related. Nope. It was Jessica's mother. She was surprisingly nice. She said she wanted to apologize for her daughter's behavior. She said Jessica has always been particular, but that wedding planning has brought out a side of her I've never seen before. I told her about the hair demand, the bills, the Venmo requests, everything. There was a long silence, and then she said, "She asked you to dye your hair? Your beautiful natural red hair." I confirmed yes. She sighed deeply and said, "I am so sorry. That is completely unreasonable. I'm honestly embarrassed." We talked for about 20 minutes. She said Jessica's dad, her ex-husband, is funding most of the wedding and has basically given Jessica unlimited budget, which has gone to her head. She said she's tried to talk to Jessica about her behavior multiple times, but Jessica thinks everyone is attacking her and doesn't understand the pressure she's under. Jessica's mom told me she's going to have a serious conversation with her daughter and that I absolutely don't owe her anything. She also said if Jessica tries to take me to court, she'll testify on my behalf about Jessica's unreasonable behavior. I thanked her. She seems like a really kind woman, and I honestly feel bad that she has to deal with this. Sixth, the social media saga continues. Jessica posted a long Instagram story that multiple people screenshot and sent to me about toxic people who reveal their true colors when you need them most, and how she's learned who her real friends are through the wedding planning process. The comments were mostly supportive from people who don't know the full story, but a few mutual friends commented asking what happened. Jessica responded to one saying, "Some people just can't be happy for others' success and will do anything to make someone else's special day about them. I am still taking the high road and not responding publicly, but it's getting harder. Multiple friends have told me I should set the record straight, but I don't want to stoop to her level." Although one of my friends commented on Jessica's post with just thinking face, and Jessica immediately deleted the whole story. So that was funny. Current status. I'm not paying Jessica anything. I have all documentation saved in multiple places. 3 people have quit her bridal party. Her own mother is on my side. I'm going to get my hair done this week. Might add some highlights to make it even more vibrant, just for fun. I'm planning a spa day with Hannah and Lily on the day of Jessica's wedding. The wedding is in 4 weeks. I'll update if anything else insane happens, but honestly, I'm just ready to move on from this friendship and this drama. Oh, and for everyone asking, yes, my hair really is naturally this red. I posted a photo on my profile for anyone curious. Spoiler, it's gorgeous, and I'm never dyeing it for anyone. Final update. The wedding was 2 days ago. I'm posting this final update because the aftermath has been absolutely wild and I need to document this for posterity. The month before the wedding was relatively quiet on my end. Jessica stopped contacting me directly, thank God, but I heard through the grapevine that things were chaotic. Apparently, one of the two remaining bridesmaids, the both sides girl, also quit 3 weeks before the wedding after Jessica criticized her makeup during the rehearsal and told her she looked too done up and needed to tone it down so she didn't compete with the bride. Jessica had a screaming match with her wedding planner and fired her with 2.5 weeks to go. The florist threatened to quit after Jessica changed the order for the 6th time. Jessica's mom had to take over most of the coordination. So Jessica walked down the aisle with one bridesmaid, her cousin, Hannah Lily, and I did indeed have a spa day the day of Jessica's wedding. We got massages, facials, and I got my hair done. Added some gorgeous copper and gold highlights that made my red hair even more vibrant. We took photos and had the best day. Not gonna lie, it felt like the universe's way of rewarding me for dodging this bullet. Now, I wasn't at the wedding, but multiple people have filled me in, and oh my god. Apparently, the wedding itself was beautiful. Jessica looked stunning, I'll give her that. The venue was gorgeous. Everything was very elegant and expensive looking. But here's where it gets good. During the reception, Jessica gave a speech. Apparently, this wasn't planned. She just grabbed the microphone after the best man's speech and started talking. According to 3 separate sources, she went on a 10-minute rant about the difficulties of wedding planning and people who claim to be your friends but abandon you when things get hard, and how she learned to cut toxic people out of her life. She didn't name names, but everyone who knew about the bridesmaid drama, which was a lot of people by this point, knew exactly who she was talking about. The room got so uncomfortable. People were looking at each other confused. Matt, the groom, apparently tried to gently take the microphone from her twice, but she kept going. She ended her speech with, "If you can't handle me at my wedding planning, you don't deserve me at my marriage." A bastardized Marilyn Monroe quote, which would be funny if it wasn't so cringe. The applause was weak. Apparently one of Matt's groomsmen yelled, "Okay," in a very please stop talking tone. But wait, there's more. Later in the evening, Jessica had apparently had several glasses of champagne. She approached a guest, a woman with auburn hair, not even bright red like mine, just reddish brown, and told her she should have worn her hair up because it was distracting in photos. The woman was Matt's aunt, his favorite aunt, actually. Matt overheard this and finally stepped in. According to his cousin, who reached out to me afterward, Matt pulled Jessica aside and they had a huge argument. People could hear raised voices from outside the venue. The party definitely continued, but the vibe was apparently off for the rest of the night. The day after the wedding, I got a Facebook message from Matt's cousin. She said she felt like I deserved to know what happened and gave me the full rundown. She also said, "I feel really bad for Matt. I don't think he knew what he was getting into." Then, 3 days after the wedding, literally yesterday, Jessica's mom called me again. She was crying. She said the wedding was a disaster emotionally, that Jessica's speech was humiliating, and that she's never been so embarrassed. She said several family members have reached out to her asking what's going on with Jessica and if she's okay mentally. Then she told me something that made my jaw drop. Matt and Jessica got into another huge fight on their wedding night. Apparently, Matt told Jessica that her behavior throughout the wedding planning, and especially her speech at the reception, was unacceptable and embarrassing. He said if this is how she's going to act during stressful times, he's concerned about their future together. They still went on their honeymoon. They left for Bali yesterday, but Jessica's mom said Matt was seriously questioning things. I felt bad for about 30 seconds and then remembered this is the same person who demanded I dye my natural hair and sent me a bill for emotional distress. This morning, I woke up to a text from Jessica. From a new number. She apparently got a new phone or unblocked me. Not sure. The text said, "I've had time to reflect on everything, and I realize I may have overreacted about some things. I'm sorry if I hurt your feelings. I hope we can move past this and rebuild our friendship. I miss you. If I hurt your feelings, some things, this is not an apology. This is damage control." I showed the text to Hannah and Lily in our group chat. Hannah responded with, "Block her. She's trying to hoover you back in." Lily said, "She's probably realizing all her bridges are burned and she has no friends left." I thought about responding. I drafted about 10 different messages ranging from polite to absolutely scorching. But then I realized, she doesn't deserve my words. She doesn't deserve my time. She doesn't deserve anything from me. I blocked the new number. I blocked her on every possible platform I could think of. I even blocked her on Venmo, which I should have done weeks ago. I'm done. So done. Where things stand now, I never paid Jessica a single cent, obviously. She never took me to small claims court, called it. I'm closer with Hannah and Lily than ever. My red hair is more gorgeous than ever with the new highlights. Jessica's marriage is apparently already rocky after 1 week. I have zero regrets. Several people have asked if I feel bad for her. Honestly, not really. I feel bad for Matt, who seems like a genuinely good guy who got caught up with someone who values aesthetics and control over genuine human connection. I feel bad for Jessica's mom, who seems like a kind woman stuck dealing with her daughter's chaos. But Jessica? She made her choices. She chose to prioritize her vision over people. She chose to try to control and manipulate the people around her. She chose to publicly humiliate herself with that speech. She chose to pick fights with her new husband on their wedding night. Those are her consequences to live with. As for me, I'm moving forward. This whole experience taught me to stand firm in my boundaries and not feel guilty for refusing unreasonable demands. It taught me who my real friends are. Hannah and Lily have been amazing. And it taught me that sometimes the trash really does take itself out. My hair is red. It's always been red. It will always be red. And it's absolutely beautiful. To anyone dealing with a bridezilla or anyone trying to control you, stand your ground. Your boundaries matter. Your feelings matter. And you don't owe anyone pieces of yourself just to make them comfortable. Thanks for coming on this absolutely bonkers journey with me, Reddit. I'm closing this chapter and moving on with my life, with my fabulous red hair and my actual real friends. Jessica, if you're reading this, and let's be honest, you probably are, I hope you get the help you need.
Genuinely.